Tonight on CTV News, Broadway blues.
From a business point of view, I don't know if I'm going to be here when it's done.
What a 4-month closure on Broadway means for businesses already struggling and for traffic congestion.
It's beyond frustrating. We fought for this verdict and now we have it and nothing changes in his life.
A stunning turnaround in a troubling murder of a BC woman killed at a Mexican resort. Her boyfriend is now found guilty.
It will only add to the pain for the Gray family if there's a further delay.
Another delay in the public hearing into Miles Gray's death. Fallout from the obscene comment streamed live to the public.
This is CTV News with Mi Jung Lee.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. Traffic congestion in Mount Pleasant just got worse today, and a lengthy closure of a main artery is the latest blow for businesses already reeling from Broadway subway construction. CTV's Kevin Chirac joins us live from Broadway and Main. And Kevin, what are you hearing from local businesses in the impacted area?
Well, Mi Jung, with East Broadway now closed for the next 4 months between Maine and Quebec, drivers can expect a lengthier and trickier commute. And business owners tell me they're worried this latest closure could result in their closure. Douglas Stewart runs Colorful Strings Music School on 8th Avenue.
We're in a lot of trouble.
He says years of Broadway line construction and traffic disruptions, including congestion and the removal of street parking, have caused his business to plummet.
As of last year, it's over a year I've had a second job and sometimes taken extra on top of that. And that's just to keep our music school we've had for 22 years going, to not lose my house and not to lose basically our livelihood.
Stewart says he was blindsided by the latest Broadway closure and the resulting 8th Avenue detour, which he says has made drop-offs and parking nearly impossible. He's unsure if his school will survive, and he's not alone.
It's going to be devastating. I mean, we're already down 45% year over year.
Ron McGillivray runs Fable Diner and says he's taken extreme measures just to keep the lights on.
Sold my house 3 years ago to kind of make it through this. And now it's at the point, like, how much longer can I stay on to survive to see it?
The head of the Mount Pleasant Business Improvement Association says the province needs to step up with support.
The province keeps referring to this as an inconvenience. This is not an inconvenience, or this is something for the greater good. Well, this additional 2 years was something that they never planned for. So how much greater good do these people have to sacrifice?
The province says the street closure and traffic changes will speed up construction and benefit the area in the long run. But when it comes to financial help, the Ministry of Transportation says it does not provide compensation for disruptions caused by infrastructure projects. Vancouver Mayor Ken Sim says the province should pay up. We have made a direct request to Minister Farnworth and the province requesting them to establish a targeted financial assistance program, either in the form of direct grants or rent relief. The 5.7-kilometer Broadway line was expected to be complete in 2025, but is now scheduled to open in the fall of 2027 as local businesses try to stay afloat.
We've had to fight for every inch, so we're in the fight. We're in the fight for the long term here, and we're not going to stop.
Now, while the Ministry of Transportation said the province wouldn't compensate those businesses, Transportation Minister Mike Farnworth has agreed to meet with members of the Mount Pleasant business community Tuesday morning to hear about their concerns and possibly seek out solutions. We will have the very latest of that meeting for tomorrow's newscast. Mi Jung, we'll send it back to you.
Thank you, Kevin. Turning now to a major development in the brutal murder of a young Dawson Creek woman 3 years ago. Kiera Agnew's boyfriend has been found guilty of her murder, reversing an earlier decision of not guilty. CTV's Dimitri Amerigo spoke with Agnew's family about this dramatic turn of events.
The words Tanya Agnew had been waiting for: guilty.
I think we all collectively screamed in our homes. We were just so excited.
We just got situated in our room.
In March of 2023, Kiera Agnew was found dead in the laundry room of the Grand Sunset Princess Hotel in Playa del Carmen, where she was vacationing with her boyfriend, Ryan Friesen.
It's been a nightmare.
Friesen was taken into custody. In September of 2024, a Mexican court found Friesen not guilty. The following month, prosecutors submitted an appeal. Things changed this past December when Friesen was found guilty of murder by a singular Mexican magistrate. CTV News reached out to Friesen's legal team, who say they have placed an amparo on this decision, meaning they're challenging the decision. A panel of 3 federal judges will now review the case.
It's beyond frustrating.
While the guilty judgment is being appealed, Tanya says Friesen is still a free man in Dawson Creek.
He is still able to walk free. He's still able to play hockey, and his life really hasn't changed much.
A professor of transnational criminal law at Dalhousie University says Canadian officials usually wait until the entire legal process is over to make any arrests, and
he can only be arrested when he is sought for extradition.
CTV News reached out to Global Affairs. They say they're aware the verdict has been overturned, but cannot comment further.
We fought for this verdict, and now we have it, and nothing changes in his life.
In a statement, Friesen's legal team says Ryan remains committed to defending his innocence. Dimitri Marigo, CTV News, Vancouver.
A former Canadian Olympic snowboarder accused in a drug smuggling ring made his first court appearance in the U.S. today. Ryan Wedding pleaded not guilty in front of a judge in Santa Ana, California. He turned himself in at the U.S. Embassy in Mexico City last week after a lengthy effort by authorities to arrest him. The former FBI fugitive is accused of running a billion-dollar multinational drug trafficking ring and orchestrating multiple killings. He was indicted in 2024. In Canada, Wedding faces separate drug charges dating back to 2015. A public hearing into the police-involved death of Miles Gray will resume tomorrow, but it won't be hearing evidence. Instead, there will be debate about whether a lawyer who resigned over a vulgar comment that was captured on a microphone should continue in a critical role. CTV's Ben Milger has more.
It has been more than 10 years since Miles Gray died following a violent brawl with 7 Vancouver police officers. Now, the public hearing into the circumstances is at risk of being derailed.
It will only add to the pain for the Gray family if there's a further delay.
The hearing has not heard evidence pertaining to the case since Wednesday morning. That's when someone uttered the words, "stupid C word," into a hot mic. The vulgar comment could be heard in the room and on an audio live stream broadcast publicly. It came as hearing counsel Brad Hickford, respondent lawyer Claire Hatcher, and adjudicator Elizabeth Arnold Bailey discussed how to proceed with some evidence. Hickford, who acts in a prosecutorial role and prepped for a year, resigned over allegations he muttered the remark, but stopped short of admitting it. He did not intentionally make the remark in question. He does not recall doing so, a lawyer for Hickford told the hearing on Monday morning. Noting Hickford's key role in the process, Arnold Bailey, a retired BC Supreme Court judge, is reluctant to accept his resignation. While acknowledging the remark was likely directed at her or Hatcher, she called it unfortunate and vulgar. But her position is that revealing the facts through the public hearing is more important. Let's get over it and get on with it, she said. Gray family lawyer Ian Donaldson agrees.
We ought not to elevate an unfortunate, obscene comment, vulgar comment, to the level where we're thinking that it's more important than the public interest in getting to the bottom of what happened.
Lawyers for the 7 respondent police officers requested an adjournment so they could formulate their arguments on Hickford's possible return. Ultimately, the decision will rest with Arnold Bailey. After 10-plus years spent seeking accountability for Gray's death, his family tells me the prospect of a setback adds more anxiety and stress. It is their sincere hope the adjudicator will choose a path forward that allows the hearing to continue without further delay. Ben Milger, CTV News, Vancouver.
Vancouver police say they have made an arrest in relation to the city's first homicide of 2026.
It's made possible by our homicide unit reviewing evidence and speaking to witnesses. And it's made possible by our ERT team along with our patrol teams as well in locating and arresting this man.
22-year-old Kwok Dang has been arrested for the fatal stabbing of 48-year-old Christopher Jumal Sanderson on January 20th. The arrest was made 4 days later at a home near Commercial and East 13th on Saturday. Dang has been charged with 1 count of second-degree murder and remains in custody. The Premier is doubling down on his support for the mining sector, promising firm timelines for companies to know whether a project is approved. The industry is optimistic as executives and engineers from around the globe descend on Vancouver to talk business. CTV's Penny Daflos was there.
Approval for the extension of the Mount Milligan copper mine in northern BC happened in about 10 months. It typically takes about 2 years, the kind of action prompting one industry leader to describe David Eby as spearheading
a provincial government that fully understands the scope of the opportunity mining presents for BC.
High praise from a sector that's been complaining for years about the ballooning, years-long application processes.
You have my commitment that we will continue to work with you to deliver faster permits, more certainty, and strong partnerships with First Nations.
The Premier is now promising fixed timelines, including exploration permits in as little as 40 days.
We have to move faster than ever, faster than British Columbians are used to, faster than Canadians are used to, because of the urgency of the moment.
The government is actually listening to us.
Eby made the announcement at the Association for Mineral Exploration's annual convention, which has drawn a record 7,500 attendees from 42 countries to Vancouver.
We have the highest environmental standards. We do it in a very sustainable way.
Relieved to hear government recognizes companies would prefer to face rejection after a year rather than a decade of waiting.
We have unreasonably long permitting timelines in British Columbia.
The potential of being able to convert this into a very significant opportunity.
Some companies believe that years of planning and outreach are now coming to fruition as the provincial and federal governments are keen to support natural resource development.
In general, our approach has always been to start from bottom up. So start with your First Nation communities, start with your municipalities, start with achieving consensus around those communities first.
Now that the promise of speed has been made, industry will be watching to see if government follows through as it pivots away from its traditional focus on forestry to mining.
It will be the foundation of the new economy that Canada is building, that British Columbia is building.
Penny Daflos, CTV News, Vancouver.
120 mill workers on Vancouver Island will be out of work for at least another year as the Chemainus mill extends its closure. It's another blow to the forestry industry in North Cowichan, with weak market demand, high tariffs, and log supply challenges all being blamed. Western Forest Products also announced short-term closures next month to their sawmills in Saltaire and Ladysmith. The news comes on the heels of the Crofton pulp mill closing for good. Lots of British Columbians will need to come to Vancouver for medical care during the World Cup this June. But should they have to pony up and pay market rates for accommodation? What's being done to address what some are calling a looming crisis? The story in just a moment. But first, let's take a look outside. Here's our live camera from Grouse Mountain looking down on downtown Vancouver. The city looks so pretty, and it was another gorgeous day. It doesn't feel like January, does it?
No, it doesn't. It's been dry, beautiful over the weekend, lots of sunshine today, cloudier, and we'll continue to see that tomorrow as well. But right now, here's a look at temperatures. Definitely warmer than what we saw on the weekend. 7 degrees at the harbor as well as in Burnaby, a cool 1 in Pitt Meadows, 4 degrees in Chilliwack, 2 degrees in Abbotsford. As we head through the overnight hours, we will see overcast conditions dropping down to 1. Into tomorrow, we'll see mostly cloudy skies, a few sunny breaks, and a high of 9.
CTV Weather brought to you by Expedia Cruises. Make the most of your next trip by booking with those who've been there. Visit expediacruises.ca.
And you're going to have to dust off your umbrellas because after tomorrow, well, a whole lot of rain on the way. Those details coming up.
But still, I think our friends in Toronto are envious,
yes,
regardless.
Definitely. I think they would prefer the rain to the wallop of snow they got.
Okay, thanks, Anne. We are now 4.5 months away from hosting the World Cup in Vancouver, and a patient advocacy group is concerned there is no plan to accommodate British Columbians from out of town who need to stay in the city for medical treatment. That group has now secured affordable rooms, but it needs financial help to make it happen. CTV's Shannon Patterson has the story.
Leah Becker is a 53-year-old mother of 3 with terminal interstitial lung disease.
This is what the edge of death looks like.
The Vernon resident is undergoing testing in order to be added to the wait list for a potentially life-extending double lung transplant at Vancouver General Hospital.
I have to be prepared to have bare minimum 3 months of somewhere to stay, to live. When that happens, when I get the call.
If that call comes when the city of Vancouver is hosting the FIFA World Cup.
I have heard that the vacancy rate is this, and that the cost for anything is astronomical.
I think what's going to happen is that there will be patients navigating an optionless system. So there's going to be nowhere to stay, and there's going to be nobody within government accountable for this or within the healthcare system.
In an email, the health ministry said, while there isn't a specific program in place to provide extra support during the 7 spread-out game days, there are a number of existing programs available to patients and their families.
And so the province has suggested that patients plan ahead or work with their doctors to find a plan for themselves, and that it's not something that the patient should be responsible for. The FIFA World Cup is not the responsibility of a patient. It is the responsibility of the healthcare system and the provincial government.
I've never looked to the government to help me for anything, but I guess I would look to them for a safety net. There isn't one there.
Fearing out-of-town patients will be left with no options during FIFA, the advocacy group Housing is Healthcare has secured 15 rooms in downtown Vancouver.
And I still have them on hold, but I'm actually looking for a financial sponsor right now. So for those 2 months this summer, it would cost approximately 200,000 Canadian dollars.
If a financial sponsor can't be found in the next week, those rooms will be released.
And then we will be back to square one where there's nothing left.
Becker has taken out a line of credit in case she gets the call for a transplant during the World Cup period. Her message to the health minister?
Help us, please. We need help. And this is something that is much easier done at that level than it is at the level I'm at. So it's a plea for help.
Shannon Patterson, CTV News.
ICE wants to buy a building owned by the Jim Patterson Group. What they're planning to use it for, also ahead.
I think we have a unique opportunity to create in Alberta something good.
Angry Albertans line up to vent their frustration. A separatist group holds a petition signing event in Calgary. When CTV News at 6 continues, stay with us. A stretch of the Stanley Park seawall has been shut down for the next several days so crews can repair parts that were damaged by storms last month. The Vancouver Park Board says the section between Third Beach and Prospect Point will not be reopened until Friday. Already dealing with transportation woes after a barge struck their only bridge, residents of Westham Island have also now been told their drinking water may not be safe. The city of Delta issued a boil water advisory for people living on the island. While assessing damage to the bridge, crews discovered a leak in the water main which supplies the island. It's not clear if the barge strike caused the leak or if it only led to its discovery. At this point, the city says the advisory is precautionary and there's no confirmed contamination in the water supply. The 116-year-old bridge has been closed since Tuesday, and TransLink, which owns the bridge, says it may take several weeks to repair and reopen it. The Greater Vancouver Food Bank handed out bags of apples to the community today after receiving a massive donation.
The fact of the matter is, it just continues to show our concept that there is no food issue in BC. It's a distribution problem. And the fact that we see this abundance of surplus throughout everywhere in the province just shows that there's enough food to feed everybody.
The food bank says it was recently given 100,000 pounds of surplus apples from a grading facility. They say they did everything they could to distribute the apples to their partners and clients, but after that decided to open it up to the rest of the community. A separatist group held a petition signing event in Calgary today, asking residents if they think Alberta should become an independent state. As CTV's Tyson Fedor reports, the group believes their province's relationship with Ottawa is broken and can't be fixed.
A steady stream of people braved chilly temperatures Monday to stamp their approval for separation from Canada.
We like Canada, we love Canada, but We are unsatisfied with the situation, with the policies.
We want independence from the rest of Canada. I mean, everybody here probably loves the country, but this is what we're forced into.
Many here are frustrated. They want Alberta to be seen on a global stage. They believe the federal Liberal government failed Alberta for too long with anti-energy policies.
You can't just govern for two provinces, Ontario and Quebec. You have to listen to people in all of the country.
Alberta flags were visible. Some here want Alberta to be an independent country, opening up trade with the U.S., but not becoming a 51st state.
I don't think anybody in this lineup is interested in joining the U.S.
We're seeking a free and independent Alberta, and why the hell would we want to fight tooth and nail for a year and a half or 2 years to leave Canada in the clutches of the Canada Revenue Agency to put ourselves under the taxing jurisdiction of the U.S. Treasury?
Organizers with the Alberta Prosperity Project and Stay Free Alberta promise separation will lead to no income or carbon taxes, but that plan has not been rolled out.
I've made it very clear what my position is. It was my first bill, Alberta sovereignty within a united Canada. I want a new relationship with Ottawa.
If she continues with that, that's a real dereliction of leadership. You're talking about a referendum to break up the country, and you won't say what side you're on as a premier?
While Alberta's NDP caucus pledged Monday to always remain a part of Canada, denouncing separation.
Separatism is also a national security threat. It makes Albertans more vulnerable in intensely fragile times.
Tyson Fedor, CTV News, Calgary.
A social media post by country music star Paul Brandt appears to tease his support for the Alberta separatist movement. The post shows him walking across the street with the lyrics to his 2004 tune, Alberta Bound, superimposed over the photo. In bold letters, Brandt highlights the lyric, I've got independence in my veins. We asked Brandt whether this signals support for the separatist movement. His publicist referred us to another post Brandt made today where he says he wishes people cared more about child exploitation than a song lyric, but he didn't clarify his view on separation. Brandt is the founder of Not in My City, a group dedicated to ending human trafficking. Ottawa is boosting the GST rebate. How much eligible Canadians will receive? Also ahead.
I'm here because we saw this terrible video of this young man being shot in the middle of the street.
Tensions are high in Minnesota after an ICU nurse was shot and killed by ICE agents. The starkly different versions of what happened. That's next. Canadian shoppers are getting a closer look at a new federal plan aimed at easing the cost of groceries. The government is boosting the GST credit, calling it a grocery rebate. CTV's Josh Morano has more.
At Walmart, Amy Smerick is doing her grocery run and keeping a close eye on prices.
I used to not have to think about it as much when I would go to get groceries. So I would be able to get the things that I wanted, whereas now I have to look at the prices and compare things.
Now there may be a bit of relief. The federal government is boosting the GST credit, calling it a grocery rebate, which Smerick says is welcome news.
Groceries are very expensive now, and it's really difficult to feed myself sometimes. So I think that some extra money would definitely help out.
The extra money is targeted to low and modest income households and will be paid automatically through the GST credit.
This will deliver hundreds of dollars more into the bank accounts of more than 12 million Canadians.
The quarterly GST payments will increase 25% over the next 5 years beginning in July. A low-income single person would receive an additional $400 this year, and a couple with 2 children would gain an extra $800 for an annual payment of $1,890.
It is encouraging to see this government making this step towards having something that is kind of baked into our tax system.
Opposition leader Pierre Poilievre says his party will support the measure, but that it doesn't go far enough.
Now, the Prime Minister has revived a Trudeau-era rebate, which will let pass, that will barely cover a few trips to the grocery store.
Some shoppers agree.
It's just a very short solution, and this has been a problem for at least 4 or 5 years, and I really do believe that we've got to do more than just hand out money.
But for Scenic, even a small break can make a big difference.
I would definitely love to see something done about the prices of the groceries, but for now, I guess it helps to have the extra money.
Tensions in Minneapolis remain high in the aftermath of the weekend killing of an ICU nurse by federal agents. A makeshift memorial has now been created near the site where 37-year-old Alex Preddy was killed. People gathered there to lay flowers and share their thoughts, including calls for an impartial investigation.
The truth got to come out. People, if you done wrong, it's a lot has been done here. So I just think they got to clear up, to be honest with you.
Democratic officials and protesters are demanding federal immigration agents leave Minnesota. The White House says Donald Trump is open to reducing the number of agents, but only if a list of demands is met, including handing all illegal aliens in state prisons over to federal officials. The U.S. Department of Homeland Security is looking to Vancouver billionaire Jim Patterson in its attempt to purchase a new building south of the border. The building, located in Virginia, would be purchased by the government to use as an ice processing facility. Records show Jim Patterson Developments bought the building for just over $10 million Canadian in 2022 and is now valued closer to 69 million Canadian. People against the move are calling for boycotts against Patterson-owned businesses in Canada. Why fewer black bears had to be put down in BC last year, but one Vancouver Island town is bucking that trend. Also ahead.
First, I had to make sure it was my car, because who knows under all that snow.
Toronto digging out from a massive snowstorm that dumped nearly 60 centimeters of the white stuff on the city. That's ahead. A group of beluga whales at Marineland in Niagara Falls, Ontario, may be headed south. The federal government has given conditional approval to export 30 belugas after the shuttered theme park said it required an urgent rescue solution to keep them alive. The park has reportedly been in discussions with several locations in the U.S. and says it's grateful that Ottawa prioritized the lives of the marine mammals. BC's Conservation Service says in 2025, its officers shot and killed the lowest number of black bears since the organization made the stats public. And as CTV's Brendan Strange shows us, the bears can thank small-town governments for the life-saving shift.
The BC Conservation Officer Service says 2025 saw the least amount of bears that had to be destroyed in this province since the government agency began publishing its statistics in 2011, with only 178 bears dispatched. That's also a 65% drop over 2023 numbers.
There's a multitude of factors that are going to influence the numbers of calls for service, the numbers of destructions.
Inspector Drew Milne says for starters, this was a good bear year, providing plenty of food for Vancouver Island's black bear population. But more importantly, that low number is a direct result of work done by municipalities across BC.
Every community that really adopts a strong bylaw, you're going to see a reduction in the amount of conflicts. And a great example would be Tofino.
In 2025, actually, and 2024, there were 0 bears killed within the municipality of Tofino.
That wasn't always the case. In 2024, Tofino adopted its wildlife attractant bylaw, bringing in a new solid waste management system. The municipality established new rules around how household and commercial garbage is dealt with, and paired those measures with an enforcement element, with the potential of fines for noncompliance. Contrast that with neighboring Ucluelet, which currently does not have a wildlife attractant bylaw in place. That municipality saw 13 bears destroyed within its borders last year. Ucluelet's mayor says that is going to change. Staff have been asked to come up with its own bylaw while investigating a wildlife safety response officer model, with funding options to be considered in its upcoming budget deliberation.
I hope a lot of island communities start to implement these bylaws, because we are seeing those communities that have taken that step having these reductions in not only conflict but in the amount of bears that we're losing.
Managing attractants that in the long term is proving to save the lives of the island's black bear population. Brendan Strain, CTV News, Victoria.
Millions of people in the Greater Toronto area got a whole lot of extra exercise today as they dug out from one of the biggest snowfalls the region has ever seen.
It's decent because we did a bunch of phases yesterday.
Okay.
So I think if we didn't get ahead of it, it would be really hard.
It's fun. It's like an exercise, so you got to enjoy it. It's part of Canada, right?
Toronto and neighboring Mississauga saw the most snow from this monstrous weather system, 56 centimeters in downtown Toronto and 46 centimeters at Patterson Airport. The city says it's all hands on deck with 600 plows and more than 1,300 staff working. Officials have declared a special weather event and major snowstorm condition, which bans parking on snow routes. And let's check in with Anne now. Anne, the snow is great as long as you don't have to go anywhere, right? You can just play.
Yeah, exactly. We like it on the mountains, but the good news for Torontonians is you'll see flurries tomorrow, but bad news is you'll have winds gusting about 50 kilometers an hour, so blowing snow, factoring that wind chill overnight into tomorrow morning. It'll feel like minus 26 degrees. Different story for us here. We've had beautiful, clear but cold conditions through the weekend. Right now we're seeing overcast skies, frontal system moving its way in, bringing in some wet and windy conditions for Haida Gwaii, bringing in periods of rain for the north coast and slowly moving its way towards the tip of Vancouver Island as well. So there is that rain for your early morning commute. It'll be heavy at times with winds gusting to about 100 kilometers an hour for Haida Gwaii. It's not until tomorrow afternoon that Vancouver Island will see periods of rain as well. Late tomorrow afternoon into tomorrow evening, and it'll be heavy at times as well. For us across the lower mainland, by 9 o'clock tonight, we'll see cloudy skies, 3 degrees. That's what we can expect at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. Around noon, we'll see mostly cloudy skies. A few breaks will continue at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. A balmy 9 degrees as a high, and then we'll see overcast skies tomorrow night at 6 with 6 degrees. So you'll see mostly cloudy skies for the central coast and central interior. Your provincial forecast at the bottom of your screen. Overcast conditions for Port Hardy. You'll see 9 degrees. That's what you can expect for Campbell River and Comox as well. For the South Island, showers for Tofino and Port Alberta in the afternoon. Overcast skies from Nanaimo right down to the Southern Gulf Islands. Double-digit highs for Victoria, 10 degrees under mostly cloudy skies for the Sunshine Coast. Cloudy day, 8 degrees. Same story up the Sea to Sky Highway. Cooler for Squamish at 7, 1 degree for Whistler, and for us across the lower mainland, mostly cloudy skies. A few sunny breaks in there, but look at those warm temperatures. Temperatures between 8 and 9 degrees, and then it all changes. Rain returns on Wednesday, continues right through into the weekend with light rain on Monday. But those temperatures definitely warm up. We'll see anywhere between 8 to 10 degrees for the next 7 days. CTV weather brought to you by Expedia Cruises for air, land, and sea vacations. So, yeah, definitely warmer with that cloud coverage.
Yeah, incredibly warm forecast. Strange to see double-digit temperatures in January. Okay, thanks.
You're welcome.
The stars of heated rivalry are handling a different kind of flame. They got to run with the Olympic torch. Also ahead.
For 2 weeks, I wasn't able to sleep.
He thought the ad was legit because it had the Wealth Simple logo, how an investor lost $260,000 in a pump and dump scam. Ahead.
Time now for tonight's Skywatch. A CTV drone slowly descending near the towers of Surrey Central under mostly cloudy skies.
CTV Skywatch is brought to you by Kermac Collision and Autoglass, the name you'll remember when it matters. Kermac cares for kids.
Taking a look at today's markets, the Canadian dollar traded just shy of 73 cents to the American dollar. Oil was down 44 cents to close the day at $60.63 a barrel. Gold gained more than $102 on the day. The TSX ending the day lower, down 51 points. The Dow Jones was up 313 points. BMO has announced that Air Miles will be replaced with a new loyalty rewards program called Blue Rewards. Launching in the summer of 2026, Air Miles will automatically convert to Blue points with no action required. The bank says Blue Rewards will feature a simplified booking experience for flights, hotels, and car rentals, powered by Expedia Group. It will also build on recent changes, including the ability to earn points on grocery and food deliveries. It's called pump and dump fraud. Criminals are creating fake websites and forums while using logos of reputable companies to scam people who are looking to invest their money. CTV's Pat Foran explains.
So when you moved your money into Wealthsimple, how quickly did this ad pop up on Instagram?
Almost immediately after.
Israel Clyde of Richmond Hill had his investments with a major Canadian bank, but recently, due to a promotion, he decided to move his funds to Wealthsimple. The transfer went smoothly. After he made the switch, he was on Instagram when he saw a Wealthsimple offer to take part in an online trading platform on how to make money in the stock market.
Those ads had the Wealthsimple name and the logo. It looked legitimate from Wealthsimple.
Clyde says the trading group suggested he buy a stock. He did, and within days, he doubled his money.
I sold the stock, but actually made $14,000 on this transaction. So I was like, oh, wow.
Clyde felt the advice must be trustworthy, so he made a much larger investment. But this time, things went bad fast.
As soon as I bought it that day, 5 minutes later, the stock tanked. It went from $1.68 US to 10 cents at the time. And I just panicked.
He was caught in a pump and dump scam and lost $260,000. When he tried to contact the forum again, it was shut down.
Tried to get into the group chat. Everything was gone. Like their phone numbers looked like they just were erased.
Wealthsimple told CTV News, Wealthsimple reported more than 10,000 fraudulent ads to Meta, and we're only one of many financial institutions fighting this issue. Wealthsimple will never recommend specific stocks or securities to buy. To avoid pump and dump scams, don't listen to social media investment tips or hype through online forums. Be concerned if there is limited company information, promises of guaranteed returns, or unusual trading spikes or dips. Losing $260,000 means he now has to rethink his retirement plans.
For 2 weeks, I wasn't able to sleep. It was very upsetting, very upsetting.
Pat Foran, CTV News.
A Saskatchewan filmmaker is using a vertical lens to showcase his movie, allowing people to watch from their phones while giving them the chance to decide the film's storyline.
So then you get call your ex or call your sister.
In the short film Singleness, viewers can pick how the movie unfolds by deciding the outcome of different scenes. The production follows a growing international trend of vertical storytelling designed to be watched right on a smartphone. The Regina-based filmmaker says they're proud the entire movie was shot and cast locally.
It's really great kind of working with Saskatchewan talent to make something like this. I think that, we can offer this sort of like production value here that if you were doing the same production value in LA, it would just cost so much more. It'd be so much harder to do, but people are just excited to be a part of something cool here.
Sinclair says he's already working on his next production. Sticking around, why a colorful piece of hockey equipment is seeing a resurgence in sales. Plus, the creative potential of a stick. Adam finds out how a dog owner is being inspired by her little pup's big passion. Next on the Sawatsky Sign Off. Right now, here's Carrie with a preview of Your Morning Vancouver.
The growing number of extortion crimes in Surrey has led to frustration and fear. Tuesday on Your Morning Vancouver, we'll hear from Surrey's mayor and her calls for help from all levels of government. Plus, the simple ways to keep your information out of the wrong hands as we mark Data Privacy Week. We'll see you in the morning.
Make their plans for Santa Clara.
The matchup is set for this year's Super Bowl after the conference championship games yesterday. The New England Patriots managed to hold off the Denver Broncos and won 10-7. They will take on the Seattle Seahawks, a rematch of the Super Bowl 11 years ago. An infamous loss the Hawks would no doubt love to avenge. A pair of Edmonton men say the hit show Heated Rivalry has reignited a spark in sales for a product they created a decade ago in an effort to make hockey more inclusive. Pride Tape founders Chris Wells and Jeff McLean say the show's impact has led to a major boost in the international market. They say sales are up 40% thanks to some big orders to Germany and the Elite Ice Hockey League in the UK for its Pride Week. The pair is hoping the rainbow-colored hockey tape will be visible when Heated Rivalry returns for season 2.
We're in conversation with the folks at Crave about partnerships. Who knows, maybe in season 2, Pride Tape might make its debut in an episode.
Pride Tape also saw a boost back in 2023 after the NHL briefly attempted to ban players from using it during games. The two stars of Heated Rivalry traded in their skates for torches today. Hudson Williams and Connor Story took part in the Olympic torch relay in northern Italy. In the show, the two play professional hockey stars who have a secret relationship. The Milano Cortina Winter Olympic Games begin on February the 6th.
I love them. They're everywhere now.
I know. Those two are definitely enjoying the perks of fame, are they not? Okay, have you ever tried something and thought, ooh, I nailed that, and then watched it back and realized, maybe not? Yeah, I've done that.
Yeah, many times.
Okay, I bet that seemed like a way more impressive jump to that skier. Did he actually gain any air?
Was there? I don't think there was any air. I think
two little jumps.
A little?
Oh, really?
Okay.
Where?
Oh. I think it was just his knee action.
Yeah. It's like about a millimeter.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But he should be proud.
Not exactly the Olympic ski jump,
No.
but anyways.
I think it's one of those things where in your mind you're like, I'm 3 feet off the ground.
Yeah, it felt big. Okay, we'll get to the Sawatsky sign-off in a moment, but first, congratulations are in order because Lauren Pullen is officially now our CTV News at 11:30 anchor. So congratulations, Lauren. It's great to have you back.
Thank you very much, Mi-Jung. Very excited to be back in a full-time capacity. And still ahead on the news at 11, a rare warning tonight, Mi-Jung, from the BC Centre for Disease Control. The BC CDC saying that drug users are at a greater risk of overdosing, and it's due to a change in what's being mixed into unregulated street drugs. The agency is seeing a spike in non-fatal poisonings across BC already, and this is only the second time, Mi-Jung, in the last 5 years that the BC CDC has issued a drug alert. So we'll have more on that warning and next steps ahead.
Yeah, definitely concerning. Okay, thank you, Lauren. Guess is a little dog with a passion for big sticks. On tonight's Sawatsky sign-off, Adam finds out how the pup's collection inspired her Vancouver owner in an unexpectedly creative way.
This is a story about a dog named Guess and the definite potential of a stick.
Quite early on, we found out she has a propensity to lift very large sticks.
So, like many proud parents, Carrie Walker captured Guess's accomplishments on video.
Just thought it was really impressive, her strength and determination.
And so many other people said they were inspired to see the little dog pursuing her big dreams that Carrie began posting Guess with Sticks videos on social media.
I think it's just a laugh, a little nugget of joy.
And that could have been the end of it. Until the sticks that Guess deposited at the end of the driveway after every walk grew into an impressive pile. And Carrie, who's a professional artist, found herself feeling unexpectedly inspired.
It was a big part of my life and just thought, I'm going to draw one. But then I think also it was like, oh, that's such a dumb idea.
Because serious artists don't do silly things like draw dog sticks, Carrie thought, before considering how Guess, even when she doesn't succeed in picking up a stick, never fails to try.
Yeah, I took my cue from Guess.
Carrie started by capturing the general texture of a stick.
Found them really beautiful.
Before documenting every specific detail.
Sort of just like traveling through this world that's contained in the stick.
And by the time she'd completed almost a dozen life-size stick drawings, Carrie was invited to exhibit them at a very real art gallery to display her little dog's big inspiration.
she's not questioning her impulse. Her impulse is you pick up a stick and you take it home. You're following your impulse, I'll follow my impulse.
And now that her drawings are being displayed with the actual sticks that inspired them, the idea no longer seems so silly. Because during these often troubling times, what could be more serious than simply striving to make people smile?
It's like a moral responsibility to share that joy with people if you can.
Adam Sawatsky, CTV News, Vancouver.
The Sawatsky Sign-Off, brought to you by
CapitalDirect.ca. Let's make your vision a reality with Capital Direct. Call and talk to our team today.
See, Guess knows how to balance the stick. She goes right in the middle.
Yeah.
Very, very talented
I could watch
dog.
her all day long. All right, let's take a look at our scenic snapshot for tonight. Cold and clear in Cowichan Bay. Thanks, Sheldon, for sending this one in. And we want to see your scenic snapshot as well, so email us at scenicsnapshot@ctv.ca.
Okay, great. Thanks a lot, Anne. Lauren's back tonight at 11:30. Thanks for joining us.
Good night.